Greetings, my name is Robert Locke, and the topic of this video is the structure of property management. Word images are important. If I say to you, Old Glory, you and I are pretty much on the same page. We have an image in our mind of what that represents. If I say World Trade Center, you and I will probably come up with the same image at the same time. The problem is if I say property management, most of us don't have a clue what that looks like. Some of us would say, my picture of property management is somebody running down the hall with their hair on fire screaming. I understand that. After 32 years, I've seen that a lot. The third grader comes out of me once in a while. I need to draw things out. So here's what I've come up with as what I think property management looks like. And it's something that I've developed over the last 3 years as a training tool to help property managers picture in their mind what property management looks like. Let's turn to this chart and see if we can't build it from the bottom up. The beginning of property management, the foundation, the very basis of it, are the laws that govern the business. Many people come out of the brokerage community, have studied a lot of laws about real estate, but very few have studied those specific laws that talk about property management. Very few have made a study of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the new lead-based paint laws, and their local landlord-tenant laws. And they get into property management thinking they know what they're doing. They haven't really studied the laws that specifically relate to the property management business. From those laws, you build two cornerstones of the business. One is a rental agreement, and the other is a management agreement. The management agreement and rental agreement need to be built off the foundation of the laws that govern this business. It is astounding to me, going across the country teaching property managers, how many of their leases and management agreements do not comply with their local laws. When that happens, you create chaos and lots of opportunity for litigation. The next stage in what property management looks like I call the building blocks of property management. The building blocks are things like your company model. That is, where do you manage? What will you manage? What kind of tenant will you manage? And what kind of property will you manage? Every property manager needs to develop their property management model. The next one is their management style. There's two management styles that I see as I go across the country. One is kind of a broker style. People coming out of the sales business do it one way. And then there's a manager style. And we've got videos on our website that will help you see the difference between the two and help you figure out who you want to be. The third building block is an owner handbook, and then of course a tenant handbook. These are critical building blocks in your business as they force you to sit down and articulate in detail how you're going to manage every situation for the owner and how you're going to manage everything that comes up between you and the tenant. An owner handbook and a tenant handbook are two of the key building blocks of your property management structure. The next one is a job description. You can find on our website a detailed video and a download that'll help you articulate your job description. Every property manager does it a little differently. And if you do not articulate to the owner exactly what your property description is, the owner's going to make up their own. And it's going to have a lot of conflict in your relationship if you don't articulate that and set those expectations up front. So you need a job description for you. The last one is your scope of service. A scope of service is that document that articulates what your fee covers and what it doesn't cover. Many owners think you're an asset manager. They think that everything that relates to the property is in your bucket of task for that $80 or $100 a month that they pay you. Well, you learn along the way that you can't do everything for $80 a month. And a scope of service outlines in detail what your fees cover and what are the costs of other services that they ask you to do throughout the property management process. Studying the laws putting a good management and rental agreement together and putting these key documents in place will get you about 70% down the road in building a great property management model. The last section are the operational issues, and this has to do with your policies, your letters, your forms and checklists, your employee manuals, your property and procedures manual, and your management decision procedures. In the operations system, you're going to evolve documents as experiences drive it, and over the years you'll keep changing this as time goes on. Picture this for a moment like the Empire State Building. I am told that if you're at the top, there's actual movement in the building. I doubt there's much at the bottom. Property management is that way. The structure at the bottom doesn't move very much. The laws that govern the business are pretty solid and stay in place over the years and pretty much the same. The rental agreement and the management agreement are something you should change every 3 to 5 years. But they shouldn't change very much, and you shouldn't go back and make a lot of changes in those documents because it'll confuse your staff and make it very difficult to manage on a smooth basis. These building blocks will change every year or so. These are the documents that you want to evolve as time goes on. Just like the Empire State Building, this doesn't change much. This changes quite rapidly. In our model, the joke is, Robert is here, something's going to change. And what they're talking about is the operational part of the business, not the foundation of the business. So as you consider what does property management look like, I would encourage you to download this. We have both a printed and digital version. We have posters of this around our office. It's a great training tool. Give your staff a real leg up on what property management looks like. Images are important. Make sure you and your staff and your owners and your tenants are on the same page. Give them a glimpse of the structure of property management. Thanks for listening.